So for this video, I wanted to actually talk to you guys about something remarking critters. But this was the gameplay that I actually got 23-9 and literally lost the entire game. Yeah. I'm gonna basically just brief it with you guys. We were going through this entire team like it was it was easy to do this. The problem was the fact that our entire team is completely noobish to shit, and it kind of bothered me for numerous reasons. Number one, I had to deal with certain players that were literally just going to, or for example, literally decide to use shotguns throughout mid every time I rushed it, and throughout the entire time, I kind of had to have a realization that, oh, I don't know, maybe the entire team has no sense of direction or awareness or anything like that. It's almost like I'm playing with Xbox players. Not to be rude, but it almost seems like that. Because you guys, I'm not going to lie to you, some of y'all Xbox players do not take this game seriously. I refuse to even believe that any of them takes this shit seriously. Some of them are actually really good. Some of them are not. Some of them are not. They literally lose every single sense of this game. And once they literally end up driving on through, it almost seems like I can't seem to be bothered. Regardless. Anyway. So, when I went through this entire gameplay, I had to make sure that there was a few things. Number one, my teammates were in good place at all times. Number two, I was mostly rezzing everybody in a sense, and none of them were getting that many kills. Trust me, if you see the leaderboard, there is a big difference. Also, there was a few changes to my gameplay that had to be changed. Number one, the original class that I was using, the Growl, it kind of was a little bit OP to use. The thing was about it, though, is the close range with it. Because, of course, there is a bit of a setback with it. One is the fact that the gun is not that good as far as anything. That's number one. Number two, it does take a long time for the gun to take away its opponents by close range for in particular reasons. Like, a lot of people had told me about how the Growl does have a struggle with mid-range and all that shit, so I had to make sure that there was a few things that I had to go back on. But anyway, let's not drive ourselves into this. So we go into the next round, and it looks like we're actually doing pretty good as far as anything. We have everything in play. I think we almost went through the last rounds. I think we won this round, and then throughout the entire time, I just decided to, I think what I did do is go straight middle, smoke, and then go and then throw in the sense text. I thought it would be easier to just go straight right and then see if I can actually get somebody from in there. Turns out I was wrong, because when I walked in to that specific door, I ran into somebody literally going into the corner with a riot shield and a shotgun, which is a 7.25. Completely and unexpectedly not surprised, because of course these guys are going to be rushing that mid. So pretty much we literally just had to deal with the entirety of it, and I think we lost this round because we couldn't go through everything, so we kind of just lost everything to begin with. And yeah, I was about to say we probably lost this gameplay to begin with. And then I was not really realizing that it was kind of time for me to pull out a shotgun, because it was hard for me to get through middle with a Growl because of the mid-range disadvantage. It was so hard for me to do that. So, of course, I had to go and get into a bit of a scandal and go for it again. And I hoped it didn't affect me as much, because we literally just rushed through the left. Literally decided to rush to the left, and then I threw a syntax, see if anybody was there, and I got peeked in. Of course, the timing, I wasn't going to make that, obviously, so It wasn't easy to counter that, even if you tried it, even if you did, you would have died regardless if he was just aiming straight down. If he had a weaker gun, then it would have been a little bit easier for me to attack him. But since I did not have a weaker gun, it did not work that way. So, to put everything in perspective, the entire game was just maddening. Like, I was the only person, and then I had to go and grab more people. It was just annoying and shit. I just had to make sure everybody was in play. We literally almost obliterated them by the next few rounds on this. It was a little easier than I thought it would, because I thought the close range would be too hard to deal with, but since it got the laser sight, it makes it a little bit easier. Unfortunately, for this part, I actually did choke it, because I was trying to get the last guy dude, but of course, I forgot the most important thing of the gameplay is to literally knife the guy if you're actually that close. I wasn't paying attention and wasn't thinking at all, so that was my fault. Of course, it was my fault. I should have never actually let that happen. That was my bad. Although I did get my streaks, so hopefully it'll be a little bit easier to go through. If you do go back on the leaderboard, I did actually do better than most of my teammates. It was hilarious how this game was going, and it just goes to show you what in the world I'm dealing with when it comes to COD. Because a lot of people had told me, oh, dude, you're shit. You're not that good. Mate, I understand, and I perfectly understand that I am bad at this game. Just realize one thing. It is hard to get a team up into the minutes. Like, the only way you're going to get a team into the ranking of actually trying to get them a win is if they're really willing to make that win happen, and they're willing to go out and actually not get outslain by the enemy team. Like, they have to at least make sure they don't get outslain. As for me, I would have done that, but the problem was the fact that some of them were not really giving their all. They just refused to let anything, like, ride. And when I first played this, I literally had to go through this round just trying to plant this out and then just defend. And it was easy enough because half of them were just not doing anything. So pretty much I was in the lobby of players that weren't even that good. Like, compared to the last few players I actually went against. The thing is, though, these guys were not, like, complete amateurs. They were just more intermediate than others, I would probably say. The thing was, though, they had more of an advantage because these guys were actually, like, semi, in a way. They were semi, so it wasn't, like, anything in particularly difficult about them. It was not like they weren't, like, that good at all. They were actually really good players. The thing was the fact that these guys didn't have self-awareness either. But, of course, compared to the level of players that I have on my team, they have an advantage, which, of course, I'm not too surprised by. So it's a draw, obviously. A lot of things have changed throughout the time. We obviously won by the bomb exploding, obviously, because they didn't have enough time to actually go and get the bomb up and all that. So this is where the round started getting weird, because middle was really hard for me to guard for in particular reasons. One of them was specifically trying to get the like getting in close quarters, and this was what I was talking about, how shotguns were that close in the mid. I would have actually thought of that idea before, but of course my brain wasn't really processing for two different reasons. Number one, I was literally trying to focus and talk to my good friend at the same time, so I wasn't really that focused into the game. But as we get into the later phase of things, just see how my players play for 1 minute, okay? Somehow, these guys are very intentionally slow when it comes to doing gameplays like this. Like, I just feel like it's not like they're slow as far as anything. That's what I meant. Like, they're slow to the point where their self-awareness is not there at all. Like, they just don't see a damn thing in front of them. Like, do you guys not have eyes? And you do not have guns? hello, what are you doing? And like my brain, it hasn't gone through the fact that these guys are just that dumb. It just makes no sense. So I went into trying to watch and go towards bomb. I went up there, but I did make a fatal flaw that made us lose again, which was the fact that I literally, in no bullshit, I decided to look up there knowing for a fact that I didn't see the sniper that was near a box. I wasn't even clear on the fact that there was a guy sniping near a box. Which, of course, I should have known that when I first freaking went through. My mistake. Literally, as soon as I look towards the freaking door, I turned to realization that as soon as I grabbed the gun, this dude is sniping right next to that box-like crate over there. So, of course, that was my big mistake. But look at what my teammate does. It takes him so long to go and get me, right? They all rush us, right? And this is what I mean when I say that these guys are just at the same level as us. Look at our teammate right here. He gets these kills because these guys are not really that bright either. But, of course, he gets double teamed throughout the entire time, so he's not going to make that simple thing happen. So, of course, he does attend to get absolutely obliterated here. Now, here's the other thing that kind of upsets me as far as anything. It took, this round right here is where I literally had to be by myself to clutch this. And the reason I say I had to be by myself to clutch this is because it was really hard to get these guys to get off me. And let me tell you, with these guys, that at least some of them, they know how to double team when it comes to 4v6s, especially when it comes to this. And when we went through this, I literally had to go and watch the middle. Obviously, I had to watch the middle, go straight in, throw a grenade, and then after that, I had to watch the straight middle right here. And I actually got that guy right there. Obviously, I had to move things through. I activated my dead silence a little too early, but it was worth it, so hopefully it was a little bit easier for anything else. Of course, it took me a bit to realize that there was a guy outside that door, specifically to my left. Obviously, I wasn't really looking, and of course, it took me a bit to realize that this dude was already there, so I just literally had to wait for a bit. And of course, I realized it's a 1v2, and I clearly got myself into a bit of an issue. Now, look at this guy right here. I'm sorry, but how are you that dumb? Really? You could have eliminated me immediately as soon as that happened. So, that's surprising. Also, another thing. I had to stay back a bit because I realized that I was too cautious of how I was supposed to, play. But, oh, God. Whew. That's unexpected. I never thought that was going to happen. Let's just move on. So, when I did this, I wasn't clear that the entire team wasn't even thinking when I basically did this. Now, I could have gotten the chopper I originally want earlier, but of course, I couldn't get it. And the second we got it, I clutched it immediately after that, and I got 21 kills. Now, the question is on this one is, did we win the game? That is up to you to know and me not to tell you. But let me say one thing. Remember when I said my teammates are just the same as them? The thing was, the difference is these guys have no self-awareness whatsoever. The other team does. So, as far as anything, there was no way in hell that we were going to win this for two specific reasons. Number one, the Growl had some luck when it comes to getting the gun in. The thing was with me, though, was the fact that I was trying to pull out my streak in the middle. I didn't think he got there that fast. It took me a bit to realize that this dude got there that fast, obviously. Because, of course, if he has EOD, not EOD. If he has double time and Ghost, he can literally just run straight through middle and then go out to the left. Of course, I was being dumb and not realizing that because, again, I was in the conversation with my boy and I wasn't really focusing on the game. Nevertheless, though, my brain was thinking that there was a guy right there. It was not. My brain was so freaking out. It was going completely south. I was being so delusional at that point, but because after looking at the footage, I realized that he wasn't even there at all. But then this dude literally just stood there as if he didn't know what to do, and then pretty much we gave the clutch it. Obviously, we were going to lose, though, because of two different reasons. Number one, the mini Uzi, for some odd goddamn reason, did better than the Growl. Of course, it does have more range, and now it's gotten a little bit of a buff, so it actually gotten a little bit better than usual. So I wasn't surprised I was going to lose that gunfight. If you guys probably going to see it in a minute, but yeah, that pretty much sums up this game. How I got like at least 23-9, and then it explains how much the team has done as far as anything. So, really hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a long one. Anyway, the next pack opening is going to be out soon. I just need to get everything set, and then hopefully the video will go out by the same time this video. Probably not. Probably Sunday, maybe Sunday, because I'm not going to be getting any other videos out probably throughout the entire time. But yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this commentary, though. This was a really hard loss for me to deal with, because literally this is just a prime example of why I need teammates, because I get to these teams and every time I have to deal with this. Like, look, for example, I'm going against a guy with a Uzi, and that happens. I get the gun has gotten buffed, but the fact that that just happened, and also, take a look at this. We literally lost bomb site because someone decided to plant the bomb and literally lost his defending ways into it. And one of our teammates is completely away from the bomb. So, as far as anything, we lost the game, and of course he wasn't going to clutch a 1v6 because he literally doesn't have any self-awareness whatsoever. Hate to say it, because what bothers me the most is the fact that this dude literally is that blind, and it's upsetting. I have tried my best to keep my mouth shut about these things, and he runs across as if none of them can see him. I cannot be bothered with this game. You see why I don't try. This is the main reason. I proved my point. Leave a like if you enjoyed my misery, and leave a like if you want more of these commentaries. Otherwise, I'm done, guys. I can't be bothered. I'll see you guys.